We may not always have the best weather and don't do very well when taking football penalties, but there's still a lot to love about old Blighty, our Queen, our countryside, and yes, our cars. They can often be something very special. We all love to rocket down the motorway in our German motors, overtaking all and sundry, but English cars are not just cars, they're homes on wheels. Many of my German colleagues admire the way we put so much time and effort into making their interiors attractive, making them elegant and stylish with wood, leather, and creating lots of irresistible ambience. But the cars we're talking about have been designed especially for people with a certain lifestyle and who don't mind showing it. This is Putz, Martin Putz. Well, not MI6 material, but an auto-build colleague with the license to test drive an Aston Martin. For me, the Aston is the most consistent implementation of an ambitious aim, to make a limousine out of a sports car. The motor may not be as comfortable as a limo, there's not really that much room for four, but nonetheless, when Daniel Craig, alias James Bond, decides it's time to pick up more than just one Bond girl, or simply thinks it's time to start a family, this is his car. Of course, this Aston Martin oozes luxury too, as is expected. The cockpit is an orgy in leather, and there are plenty of electric thingamies to play with. It does take a bit of getting used to, though. There's no conventional automatic selector lever. This you do with push buttons, which is fairly straightforward. It's a bit more difficult operating the small-scale central console. Not everything is where you'd expect it to be, but you do actually get used to it pretty fast. But unlike the Germans, it simply isn't British to build a smooth, perfect car. And it's this that makes not only the Aston Martin so appealing.
This here is
not just any old ignition key. No, this is the emotional control unit. The Aston Martin causes surges of elation even when you don't know that this instrument is made of crystal glass and costs an extra €700. The Aston cuts a breathtaking figure. The sound of the engine gives you goosebumps. First and foremost, it's a sports car, but with saloon car character, due to the four doors. In the back, there's DVD entertainment for the little ones, and in case you've got a longer trip planned. But at the end of the day, and in this trio it's the car's USP, its unique selling point, the Aston Martin is a sports car, just with a bit of added versatility. This car gets its name from one section of the famous Le Mans racing track in France, where Bentley used to be incredibly successful in the 1930s. But this isn't a racing car, of course, it's a luxury sedan of the highest category. Simply caress the accelerator pedal and the car takes off, casually and effortlessly. This leads to one of the properties the car has, a property known in the UK as waftability. Actually, the term is frequently used in the world of sailing and refers to the effortlessness in which a sailing ship gains momentum when there is wind in its sails. You can feel it in the Bentley too. You can't hear a thing inside either. It's what's known in England as splendid isolation. It's like floating in the clouds. It takes more than 500 hours to build a car like this in Crewe in the UK. A VW Golf, don't forget, from the same mother company, which is ready to drive in 20 hours, serves to underline the difference. Take the hand-stitched steering wheel here, which alone takes 170 hours to complete.
It's
not a car for people who have to worry about parking it either. It's a car people buy that have a gravel driveway, who drive onto their property forwards and back out again forwards without having to use reverse. The Bentley Mulsanne is one of England's most fascinating luxury cars. Its attraction for me is due to the fact that it celebrates the tradition of a brand in the design without falling into the cheesy retro trap. It's immediately recognisable as a Bentley. It contains many of the elements that traditional Bentleys have. You can individualise the car until the cows come home, and many bits and pieces will set you back a few bob extra too, like this ashtray here, a bargain at €400. Here we are in a Range Rover, the new one, and thank God it's remained for the most part like its predecessor. For decades, this motor has been first choice for discerning lords to drive around their estates in style while taking obstacles in their stride. If you run out of road or can't be bothered staying on it, then this is all you have to do. Switch to cross-country mode, no problem at all. The Range Rover does this with ease. A little embankment here, and there is one of the car's easiest exercises. Back on the road, and the air suspension takes over again.
The Range Rover
is proof of the fact that the interior of a British luxury car doesn't have to look like a dusty old village library. Of course, you get all the classically British materials like wood, leather, aluminium, but here it's all been stylishly arranged, and the result is a luxurious lounge on wheels, bright, airy, and with a perfect overview. A real feel-good car. In many respects, the new Range Rover is pretty much the old one. You still look good parking outside the Ritz, but you can also park it somewhat less conventionally. What is new, though, is the new interpretation of traditional design features, like the headlamps, stylishly different, but you can still tell it's a Range Rover. I'm not saying that the predecessor looks old, but you can see this is the new one. And what's special? You can't even see. The engineers have managed to slim the huge car down by some 420 kilos. That's 5 grown men. You notice it when driving, though, as the Range Rover feels significantly more light-footed than in the past. And this is something you also notice at the pumps. All three brands have a long tradition, but none of them have produced retro cars. They are all cars that have something very modern about them. This is something we do seem to be good at, maintaining tradition, but still able to construct cars that not only celebrate the present, but the future too. When the question is raised, which of the three to take, it's more than likely that those asking can't afford any of them. And for those considering purchasing a car in this price range, could probably afford all three. And they should.